Hey guys, most of us are familiar with using acrylics and enamels for our customs, but something that may not be as well known is using inks. Inks can be used in all sorts of ways and can make a custom stand out from other custom models as the inks can give such a unique look in comparison. The benefit of inks comes in the fact that they're very thin and very transparent, similar to a wash, and in fact you can use an ink as a wash. The difference between a wash and an ink is that I find that an ink tends to give better coverage and is usually more friendly when being used in an airbrush compared to a wash. Not to mention that it also tends to be cheaper than a wash. In this video, I'm going to show you a couple ways of incorporating inks into the hobby. The first thing we can do is use inks as a way to dirty up a car without covering up the tampos. Since the ink is transparent, we can airbrush it onto a model without too much worry about hiding the car's features. Inks come in tons of colors and can be purchased at places like Hobby Lobby and Amazon. I'm using a burnt umber here. Not all inks can be used in an airbrush, but many can. You do need to have proper ventilation if you decide to airbrush ink, as this is not its intended use. The Liquitex inks are actually acrylic inks, so they're a little bit safer. Inks are extremely thin, so using them in an airbrush is a dream. They never cause dry tip and other issues that are common with airbrushing. So if you're new to airbrushing, they make a great place to start, as they'll boost your confidence as they tend to be very forgiving. One of the key things I like about inks is using them in layers. To demonstrate that, I'm going to show you how you can use ink to get a bronze look. I'll be using raw sienna as my first layer, and then burnt umber as my second layer. I chose this DeLorean Time Machine because it's silver, which helps give the bronze a metallic look, and for no other reason than I was sort of curious what a bronze time machine would look like. The first thing we'll do is take the car apart and give it a coating of the raw sienna, and then we'll let that dry for about 5 minutes, and then you'll end up with a gold looking DeLorean, which looks pretty terrible. So to get the bronze look, we need to go over the first layer with our burnt umber. The trick to this is that you want an uneven coat of the burnt umber. After their burnt umber dries, I'll apply a matte clear coat to seal everything in. If done correctly, you should end up with bronze. And now we know what a bronze DeLorean time machine looks like. Yay. The next thing we'll use the ink for is to show heat stress in metal. The two jet engines on this model are perfect for this example. What we want to do is give them a look as if they're extremely hot. When steel gets to a particular temperature, it starts to turn different colors. The first color is kind of a golden yellow, followed by a sort of copper color, followed eventually by a gray and then a deep blue. While getting all these colors in can be a bit of a task, we can still deceive the eye by getting only a few. To do this, we'll start again with the raw sienna. After that dries, we'll then go with the burnt umber in a very light coat, starting from the middle of the engines and adding in more heavy layers as we reach the tips, where the exhaust will come out. When the burnt umber is put in a very light coat, you get several colors emerging: yellow gold, copper, kind of a dark blue, and then a deep brown. For this model, I made sure that most of my colors were at the ends of the exhaust pipes. So while the engines don't look too bad, they do look a bit out of place on this model. No problem, we can go ahead and use the ink once again to finish out this small custom. We'll start by going ahead and painting the rest of the model with the burnt umber. Burnt umber is about the same color as rust, so we can give this model a quick rust look. Once that dries, we can use some of the rust weathering powders to highlight the edges to give them a slight worn look. I went over the model with a little bit of black wash to get the details to go ahead and pop. So you can see here how the truck looks all put back together. So I'll go ahead and put all three of these cars on the turntable for one final look. I want to note, however, that this video is not so you can go make these three individual cars, but as a way to show you the technique in using inks in your own customs. I use them a lot in my customs in a lot of ways not even shown here. They come in all sorts of colors, and you can see what you can get by only using two in this video. If you're interested in seeing other ways of using inks, please leave me a comment below, and I'll come up with another video showing other ways of using them. All that being said, I hope you give them a try. They're a lot of fun, and just like the DeLorean, I do paint a lot of cars in ink just to see how they come out. So once again, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and see you guys next time.